You're watching Kitchen Hustle. This is a show where we teach hustlers how to fuel their passion. I'm your host, Charles Chen. I'm on a mission to figure out what separates the hustlers from the rest.
Moves.
Got my blended dance going?
Yes,
blended dance, blended dance, blended dance, blended dance, blended dance.
I'm excited to
blended
drink
dance,
this.
blended dance, blended dance, blended dance, blended dance.
All right. Hi guys, it's Charles. Who better to ask and bring along than a good friend, JAIREK Robbins, who is a performance coach and also lifestyle entrepreneur and best-selling author of Live It. I love this book. So I thought, instead of doing like a boring interview where we're just sitting like just talking, let's get active. Let's figure out what goes on in JAIREK's routine. I love learning about what people do to fuel their bodies. As you know, I lost a lot of weight, so a lot of people come to me for recipes, and I know you have a lot of really great tips to share. So what are we doing today?
So this is a morning smoothie that I ran across. Specifically, my wife actually started making this for me because I recently had my wisdom teeth out.
Oh, how was that process? I still have all my wisdom teeth. I've been avoiding it.
So what's interesting is we can send you a very funny clip because I made my wife promise that she would absolutely not film me after having my wisdom teeth out.
Thank you for filming. I want to see that.
So what's funny is she didn't film me. She upheld her promise, which I greatly appreciate. But as I was leaving the operating room, someone allowed me to still have my own cell phone, and I was entertaining myself singing the Batman song on the way out of surgery. And what was interesting was we got back and they had told me to stick with liquid foods. Avoid the straw, but stick with liquid foods.
I love liquid foods because I feel like it's easily digestible. You get optimal nutrients, fiber, and you just feel really like energetic.
Exactly. And so it also, I think it's easier for your stomach, especially when you go through something like that, because I had all four out at once. A little bit messy.
You're very inflamed, so you need to like, you know, anti-inflammatory stuff. And I'm not big on medicine stuff, but they had told me to take antibiotics just to keep my mouth really clean just because of all the stuff in there. And so what was interesting was my stomach wasn't doing so well, but we chose a plant-based protein that had some digestive enzymes in it by accident. And so what happened was, with the digestive enzymes in the plant-based protein, it was helping everything digest way better. And then also, the reason we started including avocado is, my belief is, our brain is a big lump of fat and it needs lots of healthy fats. Yes, I get this question all the time. People come to me for weight loss steps and they're like, so when you're losing weight, did you eat a lot of fat? I was like, yes, eat the right fats, don't avoid fats. Fats is what fuel our brain and our mental clarity. So eat the right ones, in moderation, of course.
Exactly.
Coconut oil, avocado is amazing.
Avocado. The banana, honestly, I think we went just for flavor on that one. Purely because we had bananas with us.
Awesome. I love bananas. Potassium, it helps you go to the bathroom.
There you go.
We all like to stay regular, right?
Well, the other part about that, though, is in that moment when we were doing the pain medications, one of the side effects of the pain medication is it cuts off the ability to go to the bathroom for a little bit. It clogs you up.
Oh, wow.
So the banana actually helped keep things moving. And then the final piece, we went with almond butter or peanut butter.
So let's start putting all of this in. You ready?
Let's do it.
Give it the moment of truth, the taste test. If it doesn't taste good, I don't think I'm gonna drink it. Here, look, that's a beautiful color. The plant-based protein has like added like greens in there.
Thank you, sir.
And you start your mornings like that. So good. Okay, so before we start, tell me a little bit about your book, Live It.
Got it.
I have this whole philosophy around learn it, live it, and give it.
Absolutely.
I freaking love that. So tell me, explain, give me that short spiel. What is it all about?
Sure. So it's really interesting. The philosophy itself is, my belief is, if I look at what message or what ripple do I want to leave on earth or behind when I'm no longer here, is I want people, and I hope that people go out into the world and they design or define what their absolute ideal day would be. And it's chapter 1 in this book. And it really comes from the fact that I was living in Uganda. I got sick with malaria. I went and lived in this rural farming village, no running water, no electricity, no toilets, like out in the middle of the country, beautiful place to be. And while I was there, I got malaria twice, and I was very stubborn, meaning I went to the doctor and they said, take this and you'll get through it. And I was like, I'll be fine. They're like, no, take this and you'll survive. And I was like, I'll be fine.
Oh,
and
wow.
It got to a point where I started to have a little bit of lung failure. I started to have vertigo. I was all over the place. Went to the doctor and they finally said, based on the amount of parasites you have per one red blood cell, you have about, let's say, five or 6 days. And I remember saying 5 or 6 days till what?
Yeah.
And they're like, till your body won't function. And I was like, and?
Wow.
Like, you die. And I remember being freaked out. And I believe two things. One, no one has the right to tell you, or anyone on this planet, if you're ever going to die. No one has the right to say, you only have this many days left, because we don't know. And I know it's coming from a good place, because I know doctors care and they want to help. At the same time,
but we also both know the power of your belief system. So if someone tries to push and force their belief system on you, a lot of people get diagnosis and they get stuck in this fear, and that's what kills them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with a couple of friends yesterday, and they were having all this blood work done, and it was showing that some of their numbers were like drastically low. And the doctor who was evaluating it said, if I read this form without knowing who you were, you would literally be someone, in my mind, in a hospital bed, barely surviving right now. But in knowing you, you're literally going around the world, writing 3 books, getting married, having fun, doing these courses, doing all this stuff, like 0 side effects, thinking you're at your absolute best. When on paper it looks like you should be falling apart.
Wow.
And she said, I think the reason you two are in that position purely has to do with your mindset.
Wow.
Because they both believe, and they have such resilient mindsets that not even the numbers can hack them down. Now, eventually it'll catch up to you, which I learned. Kind of caught up to me at this moment of life. But mindset's so important. So in that moment, I sat down and I had a big question, which was, if I only had 5 days left to live, how would I want to live every single day of my life? To know that, from my friend Brennan Richard, did I really live when life gave me the opportunity to? Did I really love wholeheartedly with every ounce of my soul? Did I really pour every ounce into another human being every chance I had? And did I matter? Did I live in a way that my life will make a ripple far beyond me being here? And I sat down and I said, if I was going to design a daily way to live life, who I would be, where I would go, how I'd feel, who would be involved, such a simple way of living that I know I lived fully, I loved deeply. In the beginning, I had the thoughts of like beaches and crazy stuff and skydiving and bull riding, like all this crazy stuff, like when you're almost gonna die. But then after a while, I'm like, that would get boring. So what would I actually want to do every day of my life? And what are the key elements that would make it so rich and so beautiful and so unique? And I turned this concept ideal day, which I had heard from another author, and I was like, wow, what would my ideal day be? And I started mapping it out. And then when I came back, I lived, by the way.
He's still here.
So, some people freak out with that story and they're like, did you survive?
You're like, yes.
It's no, like
I have a twin brother.
I don't want to leave, cut the cliffhanger short, but I survived. I'm here.
Yes.
Luckily. Thank you.
I love that this book, you map it out so people can actually do the exercise, which I think the most important thing is, like, when you have a goal or you have a vision for your life, that you tap into what you just talked about, your daily life and that feeling and visualizing. If you can't see it, it's going to be harder to achieve it because you don't know how it feels like. Like, just like when people talk about, like, I want to drive that car, then go test drive it.
Go sit in it.
Sit in it. You need to feel it. You need to know what color. You need to know how you like to roll your windows down. You need to visualize everything.
One of my friends said something that's really interesting. He, a long time ago, used to dream of being able to fly in a private plane. And he literally lived in Carlsbad, California. He would drive to the airport and sit in a little private area where people go in and out. And he would sit there and just imagine what it would feel like. And what's interesting, he said, I would sit there and I would just imagine it and I would look at it. He's like, every now and then I'd go to the counter and I'd even ask for a quote on a flight that I could possibly take. He's like, I couldn't afford it. It was insane, but I would go through the motions, go through the motions.
Like going house shopping, going into those appointments and, like, looking at the house, feeling that house. It's like, you want that house? You need to know exactly what street. I'm like, you need to know the details.
Every bit. And I asked him, because now, just a few months ago, he started actually flying private.
Amazing.
And it was amazing. And I asked him, I said, what's it like now that you're doing it?
He already knew how it felt.
Exactly.
Right?
He says it feels totally normal.
And that's the thing. A lot of people ask for things. They ask the universe. You got to ask intelligently.
Yep.
And you also need to feel like you deserve what you ask for. If you're energetically not aligned with what you're asking for, you're not going to attract it because the vibrations just don't match. But because your friend did all that exercise of like, I'm tapping into that feeling. That's why. So it's
exactly.
Like,
and there's something interesting. So in the book, I did chapter 1 is designing your ideal day. Chapters 2 through 11 is everything it takes in my experience and thousands of our clients' experience to help turn the day into reality. And it's not like the 5 golden pillars. It's more or less our experiential journey of here's stuff that really helped us. And hopefully it helps you. And chapter 12 is now that you've been able to turn one day into reality, let's do the same exact process for your 5-year, 10-year, and 20-year vision for your life. So that's what's in here. Now, what's wild is something I learned, and one thing we talk about in here, which lots of people talk about, and the science is iffy on it. I like hard science. I like real, tangible science. Like, if you want to be happier, meditate for 5 to 10 minutes a day, do a random act of kindness, work out and get your endorphins up, and train your brain to scan the world around you and look for 3 things that you're grateful for. That's Harvard research that shows if you do these things plus a couple more every single day for 20 days in a row, your happiness will literally increase. I like science like that because it's studied, it's measured, it's legit, and it's backed up by Harvard, Stanford, Yale, all these great places. Some of the stuff we talked about in here is just like that. Other things are experiential pieces that just worked for me and they worked for our clients. And so we had to include them because it's like, hey, honestly, I can't go find a Harvard study to back up a vision board, but it worked. And here's a couple little twists that helped it work even better, which was something we realized was our brain, when looking at a board that has all things we want to achieve someday, starts to separate ourselves from the board because you look at it and think, yeah, someday I might arrive there. Versus if you take the same board and 80% of it is where you want to land up 5, 10, 20 years from now, and 20% of that board you sprinkle in things you've already accomplished that were big goals, things that are still exciting to see, meaning you see them and go, ooh, yeah, I've done that. All of a sudden your brain starts to not be able to differentiate between something you've already accomplished that was a huge accomplishment and something you're about to accomplish.
I love that.
And you mix them together and all of a sudden it gets fuzzy and it feels the same in here.
Wow. What I do, no boards, next level, guys. Vision, like you have it on your screensaver.
There you go.
You look at it every single day. So on your desktop of your computer, on your cell phone, I look at this every single. We spend so much time on this.
Exactly.
We see it every single day. That's so great. I'm so grateful for your time, Jarek.
Well, thank you for having us.
Awesome. Everybody has to check out this book. It's so amazing. I love it. We'll leave links below. Jarek also has a bunch of different programs from different levels. If you want one-on-one coaching or different programs that are more accessible, just reach out to him. He's happy to help. And thank you for sharing your journey.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yes. And hope you guys get to try out the recipe. We'll leave it in the links below.
It's delicious.
Cheers, guys. I'm your host, Charles Chen. I lost over 100 pounds and now I'm on a mission to figure out what it is that separates the hustlers from the rest.